Today we're going to take a look at a compensated carry 2011 from Bul Armory, the SAS2 Ultralight Viper. Before we do that, some background stuff and housekeeping. Number one, hit that subscribe button, like, comment. We appreciate all the support, and by we, I mean I. It's a one-man show. I just like to refer to myself in the plural. Number two, I don't have any law enforcement or military background, so I'm not going to talk tactics. I'm a super average shooter. I'm just going to talk guns in my opinion. Third disclaimer, I actually work in the gun industry for 1911 and 2011 companies, so I'm a little bit biased, but I'm going to try my best to not let my bias influence the reviews, because I think if a gun's selling, there's a reason for it. I'm just interested in finding out why and conveying that information to you, the potential consumer. Now, how did I get this gun? I actually have my FFL, and I tried to get a hold of a Bul Armory SAS2 Ultralight, not the Viper, to do a review on. I couldn't find any of them anywhere in the States, so I reached out to Bul. They said, we don't have any, and I was like, oh, I've got my FFL, can I become a dealer? And they said, sure. So I got hooked up with their distributor, and I placed an order for a bunch of these guns because I saw they were selling, and I figured, hey, if that's the only way I can get my hands on one, fine. And I ended up getting like 10 of the guns. So I had a good arrangement of governments, commanders, a few ultralights, with the shield, without, and then a couple of Vipers came through. So I've had a pretty good experience and a pretty good understanding of what the quality is and what each gun is like. So if you want to get into like the specific nitty-gritty details of, oh yeah, I sold them all. So I don't have any left. I don't know when any more are going to be able to be available. This is actually a customer's gun, so I sold all of them. I was going to keep one, and someone's like, dude, I will buy that exact gun. I've got plenty of 2011s, so I wanted to share the wealth. I have sold every single one I've got. This is one of my customer's guns who let me borrow it for this review. I'm not going to go too heavy into the specs and like my opinion on the quality of Bul Armory, because I already did that in the Ultralight review. I'll link that somewhere else. But this here, this Viper, is identical to the Bul Armory SAS2 Ultralight. It just adds this big old honking compensator. The barrel is black versus stainless, which I think is an option on the other one. And it adds the Shield RMSC red dot, which actually is an option on the regular UL. And I had a couple of them come through with that. So basic specs on this. This retails for $1,880. So about $1,900 is the retail. And if you are not in the 2011 space, that seems like a gigantic number to you, but really that is super reasonable. I mean, considering that Staccato starts at $2,000 and moves up from there, to be able to get something already red dot equipped with a compensator for $1,900 is a very, very good price. And in my opinion, it is completely worth it. So we'll just start from the front of the gun. This has a big ol' built-in single port compensator on the end of this barrel. I'm going to talk about the effectiveness of this comp in a second. I like that they fit this gun with the red dot in a green fiber optic front sight. I've talked about this in the Staccato review. If you have a red dot, it's nice to have like no dot in the front, tritium, or a green fiber optic, so you don't get confused looking through the red dot window. So very nice feature on that. Black fluted barrel. So one of the things about these Buls is they take off as much weight as possible everywhere. This gun with the comp and the red dot comes in at 1.8 pounds. So it is super duper lightweight. You're barely going to even notice that you're carrying it. I've carried the Ultralight. I've tried carrying this gun appendix. I'll talk about holsters in a little bit, but it is very comfortable and very, very manageable, even though it has capacity of 19+1 with their magazine. So moving back, this Viper is fitted with a red dot mount and comes with the Shield RMSC, which is not a very good dot. I mean, I don't know. I think it's like, looking through it, it's probably in the neighborhood of like 8 to 10 MOA. It's just a giant dot. It's all auto brightness, so you really can't adjust it too much. But it is sufficient for what you're doing. If you're going to be carrying it a lot, I would definitely try to swap this out for maybe the Trijicon RMR-CC if you can get one of those. And I know they make baby Holosuns, but I'm not a big fan of Holosuns. So this is adequate, but you may want to switch out the red dot. Next up, the slide. It is a stainless steel slide with black oxide. I thought it was carbon steel, so it could rust if the oxide wears off, and the dude from Bul called me up and said, hey, it's actually stainless, you're gonna be fine. So stainless steel with black oxide finish. Not the most durable finish, but it's stainless underneath. It doesn't really matter. Keep it oiled either way. The frame is aluminum, that's why it's so lightweight, and the grip is polymer, so it's also gonna have weight savings. Couple of features, talked about this on the UL, but I'm gonna hit it again. They have a real nice undercut on the trigger guard here, so it helps you get a real nice high grip on the gun. The trigger, you know, I love 1911 and 2011 triggers, and I know I'm like doing the grand thumb ghost thing here. There's just no other way to do it without, you know, making it weird. So sorry, I just got to copy him. It's the only efficient way of doing it. But the nice thing about 2011 triggers and 1911 triggers is there's a very well-defined wall, minimal take up, and a clean break. I tested this and it was super consistent at 3 pounds even, maybe like 2 pounds, 13.8 ounces. So very consistent trigger. On a few of them, I did talk about noticing some trigger creep, which is just a little bit of pre-movement. This gun has none. I don't think it's a very big deal, especially on a gun that's for EDC. You're not like looking for the best trigger. Even the creepy ones, you know, it's gonna be 20 times better than any striker fire gun out there. Now, I covered this pretty heavily in the Ultralight review. There are some metal injection molded parts inside this gun from Israel, but I don't think that you're gonna have too much long-term reliability problems because the Israelis really know how to mim their stuff, and they do take their time to finish it nicely. So I don't have super big concerns on long-term reliability for the gun. I haven't experienced any problems, but if you want to swap out your hammer and your thumb safety for some non-mim parts, go right ahead. Now, getting into it, this is super cool again, 19 round capacity on what would normally be a 17 round magazine. Now, when it comes to capacity, in the last video on the UL, I said that they use the same tube as a normal 2011 from Staccato, and they don't. So Bul Armory has their own magazine tube. It's thicker at the top, they have a shorter follower, and they use this aluminum base plate that's a little bit bigger at the bottom. That's how they're able to get 19 rounds in what would normally be a 17 round magazine. The normal UL is listed on the website as a 15 round gun. All of them that I got in were 19 rounds with the full-size grip module. So I don't even know if those 15-round ones exist. Now, I don't know why you'd want the 15-round grip and magazine, because I'll take 19 over that any day. It's not that much bigger. Now, getting into the case, I talked about packaging before. Comes in a plastic case. Go look at that UL review. It's the same exact case, same exact stuff comes in it. Now, the big thing to talk about on this gun is the barrel compensator. It is not removable. It is looks like it's machine pressed on, so you are not going to be taking this bad boy off. It is a giant comp, so the whole top is just basically cut off. And when I saw that, I was just not really believing that it was going to make any difference, okay? Because in order for the compensator to work, the gases coming out the top need to be vented at such a velocity that it's going to help to keep the front end of the gun down. Just opening up a giant window typically isn't gonna do much, because the size of the port, you know, a lot of stuff is over ported and you're just losing gas. Now, I did take this out to the range and I tried it with as many similar types of ammo, and I was super surprised that this gun is flatter than the normal UL. Now, the normal UL does not have a lot of perceived recoil. The slide is already very light, so there's not a lot of reciprocating mass. Also, they've sprung these guns very, very well so that it's not going to be putting too much recoil at the end of the slide when it comes back. But when you add this barrel comp, this is a very flat shooting gun. Now, I don't have the best grip mechanics, so guns don't stay super flat in my hands when I'm shooting them, but I will tell you that with this port, this gun was much more flat than without, and it, especially when shooting controlled pairs, it just stayed laser focused. So this compensator gets a big thumbs up from me. I don't think it's a gimmick. It is actually gonna do something. Now, occasionally with ported and comped guns, you're gonna have trouble with the slide cycling with weaker ammo. I didn't have any problems with some 124 grain, super weak ammo. The thing cycled no problem. So great gun overall, very reliable, absolutely love it. Now, next thing to talk about is holsters, because there are more and more 2011 holsters coming to market, which is very exciting for me. A little over a year and a half ago when I started getting into 2011s, there was nothing out there. Everything had to be pretty much custom made. So I've gone through a lot of different holsters, and I've actually settled on the Tenicor Certum for my appendix inside the waistband. This one has gone through some surgery because I needed a little bit of extra room. Again, this is a customer's gun, but I needed a little bit of extra room when I'm switching to different guns. This is the Commander version, but it fits the Ultralight no problem. You could actually take off another ½ inch, but this holster is perfect, very nice retention. I love the belt clips on it. So this is probably the most secure appendix inside the waistband holster I've used. Works great on this. I actually use the same holster, that's why I cut the bottom off here, for my Triarch Tri-11 full size. Get a little bit of protrusion down there. And I've even been carrying, and this is why you want to watch videos to the end. I know I've lost a lot of people, but this right here is a prototype 2011 from one of the companies I work for, Alchemy Custom Weaponry. I work for Cabot Guns and Alchemy. It's the same company. So this is the Quantico High Cap. It's coming out soon. It is a 2011 with classic styling cues. Awesome, awesome gun. I have been carrying it in the Tenicor and it works great. So, you know, stay tuned. This gun's coming soon. Now, if you've gotten all the way to the end of the video, this is the part where I have absolutely no idea what to say, so I ramble for a few minutes while, you know, there's a little subscribe button. There's a window right here or somewhere else on the screen to watch another video. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure you reach out and look at Operation Underground Railroad. Human trafficking of children is a big problem, so make sure that you're raising awareness on that. Great organizations out there to help rescue children and rescue people that are in human trafficking all around the world. So big problem. Take a look at that. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. And now it's still the end.